Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. We're dealing with some very cold air, especially across portions of Saskatchewan and Manitoba here over the next 5 days. And as we go through the next 10 days, we'll see a slow moderation of those temperatures, getting back to closer to seasonally appropriate levels, perhaps with a warm-up as we get into the 10 to 15 day time frame. We'll take a look at the reasons for that here in just a moment. Now we're watching a corridor of some snow here across portions of the prairie, and that will continue over the next 48 to 72 hours, but generally looking at quiet conditions across the prairie here. No real disruptive snowstorms expected, again, except for a concentrated band here across portions of primarily Alberta. We'll look at that here in a moment. As we take a look at the jet stream flow here, the satellite picture here, again, we've got flow coming out of the north across the prairie. That's what's brought in a much colder air mass to a big portion of the Canadian prairie. As we take a look at the radar here, there is that concentrated area of snow from Grande Prairie to just south and west of Edmonton down toward the Medicine Hat area. We can take a closer look here at the Edmonton area. This, of course, the early Monday morning radar picture. So if you're watching this video later in the day on Monday or later in the week, of course, take an updated look at the radar picture. Look up toward the northwest as well. That snow coming down as well across portions of northwestern Alberta. Now, as we look at the high-resolution guidance here, this is the area that we're watching the snow here. We'll just watch this continue as we head into the overnight, tapering off by the time we get to Monday morning. It's possible, though, by the time we get into the late part of the day, Tuesday into Tuesday night, that we see another concentrated band of snow here. And again, this is all because we've got an area of high pressure that's moving through the prairie, and then we've got on the flow here, clockwise flow around the area of high pressure, and that is bringing moisture back up, condensing that here in the form of this narrow snow band. So snow going to be a theme here across portions of Alberta here, across portions of central into southern and southeastern Alberta here, but not talking about extreme snows here. We'll look at some accumulation amounts here in just a moment, anywhere from 5 to maybe 7, 8, 10 centimeters, maybe on the high side, in a very narrow band, again, from Grande Prairie up toward the Edmonton area, south and west of Edmonton area, excuse me, and then perhaps some light snow possible across the remainder of the prairie here as we head through the next few days. If we look a little bit further out here, taking a look at the GFS model, and we've got decent agreement here over the next 5 days or so with the GFS, the European and the Canadian ensemble. Again, seeing this area of high pressure sneaking through, that's what's forcing the flow here to create some snow across portions of primarily central and southern Alberta. As we head through the day on Tuesday then, seeing another area of high pressure, another lobe coming down here, forcing another narrow band of snow across portions of central and southern Alberta, perhaps into southern Saskatchewan as we get into, this would be midday Wednesday into Wednesday night. Light snow flurries are going to continue to be possible across the prairie then as we head into the end of the week, with again accumulations being on the light side. Our more active storm track is going to be off to the south across the United States. So again, chances for snow as we head through the week, but those accumulation amounts are going to be very light. Look at our ensemble forecast here. Again, if you want to get up toward the 10 centimeter threshold, that's when you're going to need to head into portions of northern and northwestern Alberta. As you get from Calgary on to the south toward the U.S. border, we're talking about 5 to a trace of snow here. So a trace to 5 centimeters of snow across the remainder of southern Alberta. The heaviest amounts are going to be in a narrow band there. So if we look at the European model in the top left, the GFS model, and the Canadian model here, we see pretty good agreement across southern Saskatchewan. We're talking about anywhere from a trace to 3 centimeters of snow. Across southern Manitoba here in the Winnipeg area, probably about 3 to 5 centimeters of snow over the next 5 days. This is through Friday evening. And then again, back in portions of Alberta, if you're talking about from the Calgary area on toward the south, toward the U.S. border, probably very close to 5 centimeters of snow. The heavier amounts well off to the north and to the west, or off to the south across the northern plains in the upper Midwest of the United States, as heavier storm systems or more significant storm systems track through that region. Now, as we take a look at the flow here, this is what's going to kind of dictate the temperatures as well. Again, flow coming out of the north right now, keeping conditions on the cooler side. The colder side, we can be real here. It's December. It is not cool out there. It's cold with the subtle narrow ridge right here across portions of British Columbia. So warmer just off to the west across western portions of Canada. Now this trough swings off to the east. This is what does not keep the cold here for any extended period of time, at least not the extreme cold that we're feeling right now across some areas off to the south and to the east. Flow flattens out just a bit as we head into the end end of the week, it's strongest off to the south. This is where our active storm track is going to be going through the U.S. here. So it's going to be kind of quiet here. Temperatures slowly moderating, not seeing any big swings in that 4 to 10 day time frame. And then as we get into the early part of next week, so getting to December 17th, 18th, watching for ridging potentially across the prairie, and that could allow for a warm up as we get into the 10 to 15 day time frame. So looking at the temperature anomaly forecast, again, as we start off, keeping these cooler temperatures locked in here across portions of Alberta and Manitoba. Locked in is the wrong term. I just told you it's not locked in. It's going to be moving on out of here, allowing us to moderate as we head into the middle and later part of the week. We can see that here as we get through into Tuesday, Wednesday, now getting into Thursday, Friday, seeing those temperatures begin to moderate a bit. We can look at that in a little more clear picture, looking at some cities here. Edmonton starting in the northwest, making our way off to the southeast. Seeing those temperatures climbing slowly as we head into the middle part of the week, and then just kind of steadying out as we head through the Wednesday to Monday time frame with afternoon high temperatures around -6, -7, overnight lows in the -10 to -15 range, and then perhaps a warm up here as we head on beyond that. As we look at Calgary, seeing a similar picture, warming up slowly here as we head through the first part of the week. Maybe a small dip, but generally stable here as we head through the end of the week. Same thing in Saskatoon here, warming back up by the time we get to Wednesday. Afternoon high temperatures right around -10, overnight lows around -18. Regina, very similar picture, climbing over the next 3 days and then stable as we head into early next week. And then as we look at Winnipeg finally, your high temperature is very cold the next couple of days, right around -20, warming back up to the lower negative teens with overnight lows around -18, -19 as we head through the rest of the late part of the week, through the weekend and into early next week. Total liquid precipitation here, again, a narrow band here, expected to pick up around 3 to 10 millimeters of precipitation, north of 10 millimeters of precipitation as you head off to the north and to the west. As we look at total snowfall accumulation here, we'll look at this once more. We'll go ahead and let it play out to the end. Again, this is where we're talking about 10 centimeters of snow perhaps off to the north, generally about 5 as you head off toward the U.S. border from Calgary. As we look at the European models, liquid precipitation here across southern Saskatchewan and southern Manitoba, this of course through Thursday at 7 p.m. Very light precipitation here, less than 5 millimeters of precipitation. And then as we talk about snow, we're talking about very light snow here as well, just a couple of centimeters expected, 5 on the high side. As always, Eric Snodgrass has an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Monday morning ag forecast video that hit the site early this morning, and I will be back to talk about the Canadian Prairie once again on Wednesday morning. Have a great day and a wonderful start to your week.